Hey guys, here we go into a breakdown of Israel Adesanya and how we got to this point with Adesanya feeling so comfortable to sit on the front foot, baiting Paulo Costa's jab to get on the front foot and then counter him to knock him out with the left hook and then ground and pound him, But what we're going to be talking about today is that, but also how we got into these positions here in which Adesanya was able to feint, probe, and set up exactly whatever he wanted throughout the course of the entire fight, absolutely annihilating Paulo Costa, controlling the lead hand, feinting with the left hand here, and landing a massive head kick here. But all the little tricks and tips that he used to set up these kinds of attacks and create the kind of space he needed to put together some of the most amazing feinting, probing, and weight transitions and control that the UFC has ever seen, at the highest level. Against someone who's perceived to be as dangerous as Paulo Costa. But what we're going to look at here is essentially this clip. It kind of encapsulates the entire idea. Now, Adesanya, conventionally, I will say he's much faster than Paulo Costa. And not in the idea of, normal speed. I think actually most people think, he's very fast. He has very good hand speed or foot speed. But I think those ideas are misguided. And speed is actually an illusion. And the idea that you're simply fast is a false narrative. I believe that people are good at changing positions. And the better they are at moving from one position to the other, the faster that they will be. And this scene here highlights that difference between Paulo Costa and Adesanya more clearly, or the most clearly, as Adesanya is able to basically put all of his weight into this one step and then feint, and he still would have caught Paulo Costa, and then he's able to much quicker feint here and then wrap himself into a leg kick, but showing how much of a difference there is in speed and their ability to change positions rapidly, as Adesanya is able to easily move into the position on the line here, right? Before Costa is even able to understand that Adesanya has made it into that position and is able to attack him, he's already landed a leg kick and now moved out of that position. So we're going to talk about some of the things that went on in this fight to get us to that position. So first off, 3 seconds into the fight, and Adesanya is crossing the line and looking to control Paulo Costa's lead hand. This is going to open up his opportunities and his ability to not only cross the line so that he can control the lead hand and also throw his own right hands, but it's also going to be what allows him to later on use his leg feints and cross the line and make these kinds of attacks, because he knows that he can now cross the line if he's controlling Paulo Costa's lead hand and put himself into a position in which he's on the front foot without having to worry about Paulo Costa jabbing at it during that transition. So as you notice, Adesanya is going to be meeting Paulo Costa on the line, trying to get his right glove in between Paulo Costa's left glove and his face to open up opportunities for him to control the space and then meet Paulo Costa on the line with these leg kicks. Now, as he continues to probe and control that lead hand, Paulo Costa is going to be paying attention to the hands because he doesn't want to get outboxed. He doesn't want to be walked into a punch, but Adesanya is not looking to control the space between him and Paulo Costa with punches right now. He's looking to control that space with kicks. So he's going to be looking to jab with his legs and control Paulo Costa's hands with his hands. Very likely because Paulo Costa is not a kicker. So if he's not looking to kick and control the space with his kicks, then he's going to be at a deficit when it comes to deciding at what range they're going to be fighting at, because Paulo Costa is not going to be able to fight at that range without kicks of his own. So now, Adesanya coming forward and continuing to feint with the kicks, right? Feinting with the kick here, feinting with the kick here. Now, this is going to continue to push Paulo Costa off of his line and stop him from being able to get into a position in which he feels comfortable landing his jab. Now, as Paulo Costa comes forward and Adesanya controls that lead hand, as soon as Paulo Costa starts getting tricky and trying to set up attacks and feint, Adesanya immediately moves off the line and doesn't give him that opportunity. Notice when he gets feinted, he immediately looks to control Paulo Costa's lead hand. By controlling Paulo Costa's lead hand, he can force Paulo Costa to have to be in a position in which he has to change positions to actually land or make an attack against Adesanya. If he doesn't change positions, Adesanya will continue controlling the lead glove, and Costa will not have any attacks open to him. So he continues to control that glove, and then as he starts to get tricky and feint, he moves off the line. Now, this clip is especially important because as Adesanya continues to cross the line and move forward, when he meets him on the line, he meets him on the line with a jab here. Now, Paulo Costa is noticing that this is going to be the opportunity, the first opportunity in which he can land a jab against Adesanya, as Adesanya is not controlling the space between him with the right hand. His weight is more towards his back foot, and he's going to be looking to jab with Costa. Now, again, this is going to show Costa at what range or what positions Adesanya can control the space between him and Adesanya, or him and Costa. Now, this is especially important because this is normally when Costa is going to be throwing his jab. Now, why is this important? Well, this position looks very similar to this position here, as Adesanya is able to feint and throw the leg kick. But finding himself in this position on the line, as Adesanya is about to approach the line in which he would be in a position in which they would both be able to step previously, Adesanya is able to cross the line, again, feinting with it there to see if the opening is open, and then throwing the kick. But as Adesanya is going to show you guys here, those motions or those positions look very similar. So as Adesanya is meeting Paulo Costa on the line, he gets his weight to the front foot, and then he takes a step, and then he probes with his lead hand. Now he's going to get back into his neutral zone, and he's going to take that same step, move onto the line, and make a leg attack instead. But the position and the weight transitions come at very similar points in his line, as he's able to jab from one position or throw a leg kick from that position as well. Now, because of this, he's able to threaten Paulo Costa not only with his left hand, but with his right leg as well, which is going to start trapping Paulo Costa into places on his line, as Paulo Costa's opportunities for free offense dry up. Now, obviously, he's not really looking for any, but again, Adesanya continues going back to the lead hand control, right? Now, that's going to allow him to open up these leg kicks, right? As he continues to cross the line and control that lead hand as he meets Paulo Costa on the line, softening up that leg. And even worse for Paulo Costa, because of the fact that he's already slower, if he's going to be damaging this leg, it's going to make it harder for Paulo Costa to find opportunities to put his weight on that leg so that he can start setting up weight transitions in which to attack Adesanya. Now, as Adesanya continues to control that lead hand, he's able to control him and then attack him with the cross, the left cross, or with the right leg kick. But again, this position here is the same one that he throws the right leg kick with, and he's showing that he can throw the left cross with. Again, continuing to isolate Paulo Costa from opportunities to attack Adesanya because he has to worry about the leg kick. And in the same position, he has to worry about the left cross. Further isolating Paulo Costa on the back half of his line. And then again, we get to this point in the fight in which Adesanya realizes, oh, this fight is easy mode, right? He has this in the bag. He gives him a full feint and sees that Paulo Costa can't get off the line. And then he's easily able to move into position on the line and then attack with the leg kick and then get off the line. And again, the leg kicks are only extrapolating the problem that Costa is going to be having as he continues to fail to get on the line and make successful attacks against Adesanya, because Adesanya can change positions so much quicker than he can because he has better technique. Now, as Adesanya continues to come forward, controlling that lead hand, Paulo Costa says, okay, I'm going to meet him on that line. I'm going to allow him to control my hand. And when I control his hand, or he controls my hand, I'm going to change positions and throw a body kick. Because he's so much slower than Adesanya is able to easily see that weight transition coming. He knows that because he's controlling the left hand, there won't be any attacks from that position, and Paulo Costa has to change positions. So he's already waiting for the positional change from Costa, as he knows he has control of that lead hand. As soon as he finds Costa in a position in which he feels comfortable changing positions and throwing a kick, he meets him in that position, catches all of the weight, and is able to come back with a vicious body counter. Now, this is the big problem with Costa and his fight approach now, is that not only is he not countering Adesanya when Adesanya attacks him on his line, but every time he does make a faux successful attack against Adesanya, he's going to be in position in which Adesanya is going to be able to meet him on that line if he was caught and transition positions and change positions faster than he is and land power body shots like this or head shots as he meets him on the line and is able to cross his line and change positions much faster than Paulo Costa. Now again, controlling the lead hand and not allowing Costa to feel comfortable crossing the line or threatening him or feinting him, controlling that lead hand, and again, walking him into leg kicks, further slowing him down, making his technique even worse, further compromising his ability, opening up him opportunities for him to feint, control that lead hand, and then feint and change positions to the front foot, bring his weight back to the back foot through this very excellent pendulum stepping high kick as he changes positions and, just figures out a way that he can do whatever he wants in front of Costa because Costa can't change positions, right, as fast as he can. He's not able to transition his weight or move from the front foot to the back foot, and obviously because Adesanya is dominating him. And that further opens up even more fancy and more interesting opportunities for Adesanya to land offense because he has now isolated Costa to the back foot. He doesn't feel comfortable getting to the front foot to jab. He doesn't feel comfortable even putting his weight on the front foot because he keeps getting leg kicked. And when he meets him on the line to be controlled by this lead hand, he doesn't know if a leg kick is going to come here or if it's going to turn into an axe kick here, as Adesanya is able to use the leg kick now to start threatening head kicks as well. But because Costa is so much slower at changing positions and managing his weight, Adesanya can make literally 1, 2, 3 attacks on Paulo Costa before Paulo Costa can even get off of his line one time. And then again, more positions where he's controlling the lead hand and Costa has no opportunities to set up an attack because his weight transitions are so easy to read. Because Adesanya has so much control over that lead hand, he has so much control over Costa's weight, Costa never has an opportunity to transition his weight into Adesanya unless Adesanya is ready for it. Even in the opportunity in which he gets him against the cage, Adesanya is still able to control that lead hand and read his body language enough to get a hold of this body kick and escape out the side, right? Again, just dominating Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa, even in the most advantageous position he could hope to find himself in, his movement is easily read by Adesanya, and he's not able to really capitalize on his opportunity. And then again, getting back to these extremely amazing sequences of feinting and probing against such a possibly dangerous opponent, right? Someone everyone thought was going to be, a great fighter one day. Spoiler alert, these guys will never have a rematch. Paulo Costa will never get in the ring with Adesanya again. This was just such a lopsided beating that Paulo Costa had no opportunities to feint or control Adesanya so that he could land any of his punches, as Adesanya had complete control of not only Paulo Costa's left hand, excuse me guys, but Paulo Costa's left leg as well with all those kicks, isolating him to his back foot and then walking him into the head kicks, right? Forcing pressure on Paulo Costa as Paulo Costa found himself not even being safe on the back foot here. And then, because all the control that Adesanya has, he's able to feint, change positions, feint with the left hand, feint again, and then land any attack he wants, right? Look at all of the control that he has over Paulo Costa. Freely crossing the line, freely changing positions, freely feinting him, freely attacking him, and Paulo Costa has no answers. So what does Paulo Costa do? Well, he has to sell out. And he finds Adesanya waiting for him on the front foot, baiting an attack, and he makes the attack, and Adesanya slips it with ease and is able to get out of the way of his next attack and just smash him with the left hook behind the ear, kind of grazing him here and dropping him. But what I also want to point out, Paulo Costa's position here, he's going to be doing a pendulum step here from the front foot and shifting his way to the back foot here. And I'm not sure why he did this or why he wanted to close this much distance against Adesanya. Maybe expecting Adesanya to completely abandon his line from the jab, and maybe that would open him up the opportunity to land the left hook. But Adesanya was actually just baiting him. So Paulo Costa, seeing that the jab was faux open, not really open, he thought it was open, but Adesanya was just baiting him, and he's able to kind of walk him into this sequence of weight transitions and clip him with this left hook as he expertly moves from the front foot to the back foot with that hook. Near perfect technique from Adesanya throughout this whole fight. Near perfect weight management. Just a fantastic fight. Now, if you guys are interested, I do a much more thorough breakdown of the fight on my Patreon. It's $20 to sign up, $20 a month, and we're going to be doing some drills to kind of teach people how to do some of these kinds of techniques, the more fancy and fun stuff that he does. Specifically like the pendulum step kick and the feinting kicks into the high kicks. My channel is primarily boxing, but I do a little bit of kicking and footwork. Anyway, if you're looking to also get personalized film study for your own training, your heavy bag work, your shadow boxing, your double in bag work, and ways to improve your technique and figure out ways to move, at least in a boxing sense, more like Adesanya. And be able to change positions. As being able to change positions is the most fundamental idea for speed and understanding what true ring speed is. It's not the speed at which you can move your hands and throw kind of Wing Chun-like punches with no body weight, but it's the speed at which you can manipulate your body weight and change positions so you can crash your fists through your opponent's line and drag their head with you. Also, I put up a video, a heavy bag demo video, and someone was saying that I was selling snake oil. So I'll be doing a "Is this good coaching?" on my own video next week or sometime this week. So you guys will see, and I'll kind of talk about my drill a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be doing a little bit more UFC as the time goes on. People requested Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes, and I'm definitely going to be checking that out. A full watch through and breakdown of his technique on Patreon, including actual technique, not just his film study of his fighting, but how he sets them up, what motions, where to transition your weight. If you're looking to be able to learn how to move like this or do any of these motions, throwing punches, slipping punches, learning how to do the pendulum step, learning how to feint and probe and, whatever, all that stuff. But as a final note, you guys, one of the most important ideas in all of boxing or combat sports, in the beginning, the idea is to learn to control your own body weight, okay? That's why you train. That's why you work on the heavy bag. That's why you work on the speed bag. That's why you work on the double in bag. That's why you shadow box. That's why you jump rope. That's why you run. You're learning to manage your own body weight. You're learning to learn who you are. Learn how you move, okay? That's the step one in boxing, okay? Or in all combat sports. Learn your tools, right? Learn how to manage yourself. Then the next step, that's actually learning how to fight. And the art of fighting is not throwing punches and landing punches. The art of fighting is not just knowing how to control your tools, but knowing how to control your opponent's tools. And that's the real art and magic in boxing or combat sports, as we saw Adesanya absolutely destroy Paulo Costa by managing his tools, right? Controlling that lead hand, controlling that lead leg, right? He was managing Paulo Costa, preventing Paulo Costa from doing what he wanted and only allowing him into the spaces in which he wanted, right? That is actually the essence of boxing, right? Paulo Costa was completely boxed into wherever Adesanya wanted him, right? Where was Paulo Costa's weight for the majority of the fight? On his back leg. But Paulo Costa is a front leg fighter. He's a come forward, smash through, blast through, and try to dominate, throwing lots of punches. But if you're never allowed to transition your weight to the front foot because someone has control of your lead hand and they're blasting your lead leg, then you're a one-position fighter and you're going to lose. So anyway, if you're looking for some coaching tips, also sparring videos. We do a lot of sparring videos on Patreon as well. If you're interested in learning how to fight better, primarily boxing, but some MMA, mixed martial arts. I don't know shit about wrestling or jiu-jitsu, so go to a school for that stuff. But I can help you with your striking or whatever. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my Patreon. It's a lot of fun. Also, we're doing boxing betting and stuff. That's kind of fun too, even though I just lost a bunch of money.